Welcome back to our video. Happy Saturday. This is video 3 of 3. So the past 2 weeks you've seen me in the same outfit, same hairstyle, same everything. So welcome back to our video. Today we are going to do a Disney versus Universal type video. This is gonna be big and it's gonna be hard. So if you haven't already checked last week's video and the week before, make sure you do that, because that's going to give you my opinions on how our Universal trip went, what we thought of the food options, and then this video is going to be Disney versus Universal. So we have now stayed on both Disney property and Universal property. And when I'm saying Disney property, I'm not counting our trip to Wyndham Grand Orlando Bonnet Creek. I'm talking when we stayed at the Beach Club, because that was a true on-property Disney experience. Granted, we need to keep this in mind. Disney was pre-COVID, Universal was post-COVID, well, kind of post-COVID. So keep that in mind. That is not, I'm gonna try not to let that sway my vote or opinion, but it is gonna have a little bit of an effect on it, I think. So first things first comes to when you land in Orlando. All right, so Disney versus Universal. So I guess the first thing would be starting right at the airport. With Disney, we were able to have the Magical Express, which I do know that that's gone now. So I think, looking at it now, they're probably on the same page, because you can add transportation from the airport to Universal, just like you can get the Mears Express from the airport to Disney. So it's pretty much the same. They do suggest using Lyft or Uber, but for Universal, but you do have the option. So as far as the airport transportation goes, it's pretty much the same. Hotel wise, so when we stayed on site at Disney, we stayed at Beach Club, which was amazing. And at Universal, we stayed at Aventura. And so looking at that scale, I would 110% choose Disney over Universal. Beach Club, there was nothing like it. I would stay there a million times over if it was in the budget. Aventura was not a bad hotel. It was very clean, but Disney Beach Club is a deluxe resort. The pool is amazing. The food options are fantastic. And Universal's Aventura just didn't have that going for it. So on a scale of resort and like food options, I would choose Disney. You are also close to like the boardwalk at Disney, with being where we stayed, if I'm comparing those two. Even though Aventura is close to City Walk too. So I mean, it's kind of comparable. One thing we really liked about Disney was that the Beach Club had direct access via water taxi. That's not something that Aventura has. You do have to walk to the Sapphire Hotel to get on the boat. And that is something we really like, is having a second option for transportation. That's why we walked to Sapphire Hotel for every single day, so that we could take the boat to City Walk or to the parks. So in regards to like transportation from the hotel to the parks, they're probably pretty similar. Disney's Beach Club definitely would be a little higher because they do have the direct boat access, whereas with Aventura, you do have to walk to the Sapphire. It's not far. It's like a 3-minute walk. But it's still not direct if you're looking for that. But not all of Disney's hotels have that. So if you're not ranking yourself at the Beach Club, then you might not have direct access. Like Animal Kingdom Lodge only has buses. And so that would be pretty similar, but that's why we always try to look for one that either has Skyliner access along with buses, or boats and buses. We have it, or monorail, but the monorail resort's usually out of our budget, so that's usually not an option. Budget wise, Universal has it in the bag. They are able to hit your budget way easier than Disney is. Disney is very, 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 or can be very, very, very expensive versus Universal. Even the Sapphire was not really that expensive. Royal Pacific, which is when you would be looking at like that, would be versus the Beach Club. It was kind of expensive, but it still would have been cheaper than Disney's Beach Club. Park-wise, I would choose Disney in a heartbeat. I'm just more of a fan of the Disney rides, the Disney feel, all things Disney. So I definitely would choose Disney over the parks. Plus, like I said in my last video, like if you're a Harry Potter fan, you probably would choose Universal, but we're not Harry Potter fans, and so for us, Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade really don't do it, like don't give us that like magic that Disney does. And so I would choose Disney, and I think if you ask Nate, he probably would too. Food in general, I feel like Disney has a bajillion more options, and even like their City Walk versus Disney Springs. Disney Springs, I feel, definitely has more options food-wise. I do know we're not comparing apples to apples here, because Universal is a 3-park, like 5-hotel resort versus Disney is a 4-park, 12 resort area. But in the hindsight of looking at Disney and Universal together, I would pick Disney over Universal. I do think we have done 2 years in a row of Universal. I think next year next year in January, we will do. So I think next year when we go, we definitely will be doing Disney. I also like that Disney has some other offers. Like Universal probably does too, but our agent didn't give us a ton of that info because we went for the promo of the 5-day ticket. But I like with Disney that, you know, at times, if it ever comes back, you can do dining plans, and you can do, you know, like Genie Plus and Lightning Lanes and all of that kind of stuff. And Universal, you don't have that. You have express passes, but you only can get it if you stay at the 3 hotels, and that's tough because not everybody can afford those hotels. They're kind of expensive. So I like that about Disney. I like Disney's dining options better. I like all of their resorts better. And I also find like if you don't want to be in a park at Disney, you can go park hopping and find so much to do. Like we have been to the Grand Floridian and gone to the spa and ate at Gasparilla's Grill and ridden the monorail and done the monorail hop and gone to the Polynesian and just sat on the beach. And there's just so much to do at Disney that I think just makes it so magical. That for us, I think Disney is definitely where I would choose to go. But Universal was not bad, and I will definitely visit Universal again. We did do 2 years in a row of Universal though, so I don't know that we'll visit in the next 2 years because we'll probably do Disney. But overall, they're both great resorts. They're both great places. I'm excited to see. I would love to do like a comparison of Disneyland versus Hollywood Studios, versus Universal Studios in Hollywood, which we've been to see kind of a comparison of how they relate versus the Florida ones. So maybe someday that's something we'll do. But for now, all we can go off of is what we know, which is Florida, and I would choose Disney over Universal. So if you have any Disney related questions or any Universal related questions, pop them in the comments below. We've been to Disney quite a few times. We've stayed on property once at the Beach Club. And then we've done Universal the past 2 years. We've stayed on property once at the Aventura. We did stay at the Wyndham Grand Orlando Bonnet Creek last year at Disney as well, so we can answer some questions about that if you have them. And in the future, who knows where we'll stay. It all will depend. I'm like itching for Disney to release their 2023 prices so that we can kind of see what's going on and what we want to do. But yeah, for now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because there's a lot of fun stuff coming this summer. We have a couple mini trips happening. We have that big announcement that's coming that we'll be doing shortly. And yeah, this kind of concludes the Universal videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed them. Again, as I've said in I feel like all of my videos, I'm so sorry that they weren't probably even as good as last year's, and last year's was our first time ever vlogging in like a public setting. But we had a lot go down, a lot happened. While we were on the tarmac being de-iced in Bangor, headed to Florida this year. So forgive us. We have some more stuff happening, some more stuff coming. Hopefully a couple more mini trips in the works for over the summer. And yeah, we will talk to you guys again soon. We'll be back next week with another video, and we hope to see you guys back then. Bye guys.